Hello and welcome to Matchday morning chat. It's been a while since I did this one, but I thought it's a good time. I got up early today. I'm not going to the game today. Miserable weather out there, but yeah, Matchday morning chat. Time to reflect on today's upcoming game at 2 p.m. against kind of Aston Villa, and a little bit of what's gone on in the previous week. Historical night, historical win 5-0 at Freiburg. Takes us into the Europa quarterfinals, as you know, playing kind of Leverkusen. So that's going to be another historical, legendary two-leg clash with the German, not really German giants, but doing very, very well under Alonso this season, as you know, the league leaders by 9-10 points. We'll go into that a bit later on, really. So lots to talk about. Even last weekend, 2-2 with Burnley threw up so many talking points, really. And that's where I wanted to start with this game, really. And if you follow me, you know exactly what I say every single week, right? Danny Ings last week played, he came on, he was one of two up front with Antonio, and you saw the difference. And if you go even back to my shows when Danny Ings first came in, I said, if Danny Ings is signed, he's one of the best finishers in the league, right? Been around a long time, you've got to play two up front. Largely like he did it all throughout his career, including Villa. You got to play two up front. It's common sense. It's not an amazing statement by Jazz. It's just, it's blatant. You buy Danny Ings. Who bought him, Sullivan or Moyes? I think it's Sullivan more than Moyes, but it is what it is. You buy Danny Ings, you got to play two up front. And I don't know what it is with David Moyes, right? He's doing okay at the moment, but how many games, whole season or more, 1 year or more, £125,000 a week, Danny Ings being completely wasted, just sitting on the bench, or if Antonio's injured, or if Bowen and Kudos can't play up front, then he puts him in on his own, as you've seen in a couple of the cup games. It didn't work out. So lesson one from last week, especially home to Burnley, play to your strengths. We'll go into Antonio a little bit later on, but option one, play Danny Ings with another person up front. And that's what should have happened from the start against one of the worst teams in the Premier League for a while, Burnley. I know they won yesterday, that's fine. Whoever they're playing is not my business. But with West Ham at home, £60,000 behind them, 6th, 7th in the league, going well in Europe, you've got to set up according to your own strengths and go for the win. And then you can bring people off if you want, whereas it was done by reverse skill by Moisey. Wrong lineup, wrong tactics, and then after half time, squeaky bum time, trying to run around, do the right thing. Too late for me. 2 points lost. 2 points lost at Burnley, 2 points lost to Sheffield United. At the end of the season, those 4 lost points, it's going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial where we finish, really. So that's kind of lesson number one. Thursday night, great atmosphere. Great atmosphere. My worry, like I said, was there's a 5:30 kickoff. I got in there early. Actually, I was waiting for the turnstiles to open, and yeah, the floodlights were on as the match started. Grey skies, but a beautiful setting. Took some beautiful photos as the game started around the ground. Has some wonderful seats. Billy Bond stand, where I always normally am, pretty close to the stairs at the front. Great view. And yeah, it was kind of the right setup, which means you're playing with a striker, or who's meant to be a striker at the moment, Antonio. Antonio is not a long-term solution. He's 33. There's a lot to his game that ain't good enough. He doesn't press. He hasn't got the engine or legs that you need this day and age. Premier League is tough. But what he did that night was he kind of did what he's good at and not try to do what he isn't. He isn't good at finishing. He isn't good at finishing, but what he did was he did a lot for the team. He ran down the channels. He held it up really, really well, which gave time to Kudos and Bowen to join in from their favourite positions, which is the wings, without having to worry about, are we going to cross it into ourselves? Are we going to have to sort of go down the wing and score ourselves? They didn't have that pressure. All the pressure was Antonio up front. The opposition had to worry about Antonio, and that allowed a bit of space, a bit of time, a bit of freedom for Kudos and Bowen down the wings. Simple, isn't it? Simple. What Jazz has been banging on about. Play with the striker, play Bowen and Kudos in their favoured wing positions. Paqueta was the number 10 on that night. Great solution. And then Souček, who I've been knocking for a while. He played with Alvarez in the middle, and it kind of worked, right? And there you go. It's not rocket science, and I just hope. Well, I probably am banging my head against the wall anyway, but I just hope David Moyes learns. And today against Aston Villa, who I couldn't believe it, but when you look at the head-to-head against Aston Villa, apart from this season where we got sort of beaten 4-1, I was looking up to the last 4 or 5 years. They haven't beaten us. We've always beaten them. It's been draws. So certainly under Moyes, he's been brilliant. Some great results even at Villa Park, to be fair. But Villa come into it, they're kind of 4th or 5th. Reasonably good form. Watkins up front. Lots of good things about their team. Lots of pace. Good manager. You know, Emery, I wanted him at West Ham. Very, very good, sort of hard-working, respectable manager. They play with 2 up front more often than not, really. But then again, we're at home, right, on the back of a good win at Freiburg. Wouldn't say that Burnley was a shit. Burnley wasn't good, but either play Danny Ings up front today with Antonio or play Antonio up front. You cannot do something outside those 2 options I've just given. We cannot, right? Whether Antonio is a solution long term or not, I know he isn't, but at the moment, he's back from injury, so he's kind of fresh, I'm hoping. Paqueta's back from injury, he's kind of fresh, I'm hoping. Bone and Kudus are animals anyway. Absolute buzzing. Kudus, one of the best guys I've ever seen as a West Ham fan, right? Keep that confidence going. Tell him to do a bit more of that. Play on the wings, and that's it. Paqueta's in the middle instead of drifting on the left. It just makes sense. And certainly Kudus is both-footed. He scored a goal with the left foot that day, right foot in that game as well, Freiburg. And Bowen, we know he loves to cut in, and he was really, really much more happier. You know, these players, there's a good dressing room. They'll do anything for the team, tactics, the manager, but Moyes don't take the piss out of these players. Play them in their right positions where they play the best, and you cannot play football without a striker, and you've seen it last 2 games. You saw it in the second half of Burnley. You kind of play 2 up front, and it really, really worked. And then you saw it at Freiburg. People in the right positions, right? I mean, okay, we got Bayer Leverkusen. I think we got a good chance of beating them. As I said on my other shows, that I think Bayer Leverkusen are close to burning out. It's a long season. They're in every competition. Pressure of Bayern Munich breathing down their necks, and I think we've got good chances any to get over the line. Yes, Liverpool got the easiest straws. We always knew that was going to happen, right? But I'm just concerned about our club, and I think last 3 years, quarter-final stage, we've got a bit of a run, a bit of a reputation across Europe now. And to be fair, we knocked David Moyes, but in Europe, he's done really, really well, and we are suited to playing in Europe. We're very hard to break down. We're very, very strong physically, very good fitness, good shape, and we're certainly good away from home, right? Which will be crucial in the first leg to take something back to London Stadium. Then at home in front of our own fans, hoping it's a 8 p.m. kickoff this time. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be amazing. Their fans are going to be amazing as well, I'm sure, Bayer Leverkusen's. But yeah, I think we've been in Europe 3 years. We've got seasoned professionals in there. We've won a tournament as well, semi-final as well, and our quarter-final. So I think we'll be kind of fine, really. But yeah, in terms of long-term, yes, we know our centre-back pairing is not ideal. We know our full-backs are ageing. We get it. But I think if we play the way we did with that lineup, with Antonio up front, so with Antonio, Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, those 4, I don't think there's many better than that in the league. They all complement each other. And if Antonio plays intelligently and concentrates on holding the ball up, running down the channels, creating space behind him for Bowen and Kudus and Paqueta, and kind of setting out for them, that'll work. I don't think in front of goal Antonio's got any confidence. It's been a long, long time since he scored, if I'm right, or if he's probably got 1 goal in the year, I don't know. But just stick to that, because he's getting on a bit, and he's not the most natural of finishers, as we know. And just carry on. Mbeumo, I don't want to go down that road again. He's not playing. All right, sorry, he's not playing, and I'm not going to push for him to be in the team anymore, because I don't know what's going on anymore, right? And Kresi came back in. Emerson, I don't know how far he is from coming back. We'll kind of see what happens. Obviously, he's been one of our good players. Cressy done really well, rolled the years, but I'm just worried about Cresswell, what he did like a couple of years ago, because you put pace against Cressy, and I'm sure Alonso and people like that will know, Emery, he's going to get done. Freiburg weren't that good, were they, to be fair, everyone, right? It's a great win, but they weren't really testing us defensively, were they? Which is our worry, isn't it? Villa are going to have a lot of pace today, people like Bailey and Watkins and other lads, right? He's going to get exposed. He can't tackle. He can't really overlap, do those kind of things. He's good at set pieces. Got a good left foot on him. He can spray it around. He's not really good man marker. He's not a good tackler. And yeah, he can help out the odd game, but you cannot rely on him in every game till the end of the season. They're going to get exposed. And I keep saying that in those big games, big moments, you need your big players, and you're going to get exposed with one or two weaknesses in your team, really. So I'm hoping that Emerson comes back sooner than not. I know I wanted more fullback cover in the window. It didn't fucking happen. We fucked up the transfer window. We know that. We could have been even better. Imagine that, right? Another proper striker as another option with Antonio and Ings, and then younger one or two cover for the defensive back four, which is a business end of the season. I keep mentioning this is where you're going to get injuries. You need to kind of rotate it a bit more, bring subs on early, hint Moyes, and then you get the best out of everyone, and you'll achieve a lot more, which the big teams do, really. So those are the main things this morning. 2:00 kickoff. Funny enough, the second game where there's a claret and blue clash, isn't it? Burnley last week, Villa kind of today, really. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we're about 3-4 points behind Man United. We're in 7th, ahead of Brighton. Lots of rumours that, like I said, British teams are so strong in Europe. City and West Ham won 2 of the 3 European competitions last season, and this season we're going strong in all of them again. Villa in the conference, us and Liverpool in this one, then you got City, the Gooners in the other one, right? And if British teams win most of them, if not all of them, then I'm not sure. I'll look into it. They said that the European places in the Premier League could go as low as 8th or 9th. I don't know. So we're sitting in 7th. That's the bare minimum we need to get into Europe without relying on anyone or any of those other situations, really. And the other point before I go away is obviously people looking. Listen, I'm not saying we're going to get into the final Europa. I don't know. But people are thinking about it. It's in Dublin. It's in a ground which has got a capacity of 51,000. Obviously, Liverpool fans, Klopp's last season, they want to win it for him. And to be fair, they should get into the final at least, because their route is so easy. UEFA have done a great job for Liverpool. They're playing... Because when the draw was done, like I said, the bottom 3, in terms of odds to win the conference before the draw was done, Liverpool have drawn all 3 of them at the bottom. So that's Marseille, Benfica, Atlanta. And I think the route's pretty clear. They got probably Alexander Arnold's going to come back. Salah's beginning to come back to play 90 minutes, and they'll be ready with Nunes and people like that. They're thinking of another ground in Dublin where the capacity is around 80, 85, but they want to use that for the big screen. But I reckon if Liverpool, West Ham, maybe Liverpool and another big team get there, they might switch them around or do something. So they are a bit worried about how many fans, 100, 200, 300,000, whatever, could end up in Dublin for Liverpool. And Liverpool West Ham is going to be huge, isn't it, as an example, whether you got a ticket or not. And then we'll see what kind of restrictions are played out there. But they're thinking ahead. And I think they've got to learn their lesson now, because there's big teams in Europa Conference, forget the Europa now, right? Villa are a big supported club. We won it last year. We could have sold that game over 2-3 times and over. So I think they really need to buck their ideas up and stop. Listen, all countries deserve finals. I'm not going to mention any countries or locations or stadiums, but you need to think about stadiums that have around 50, 60,000 at a minimum, if not more, to hold the final in any of that 3 European formats, whether it's a European Cup final, Conference and Europa. I think that's basic. It's you don't even need to be clever to think about that. So UEFA and UEFA need to sort about how they do the tickets on the day, how they police stewardship. It's gone tits up a couple of times, isn't it, with the Liverpool Paris thing, and then 1 or 2 other things in the other finals. So UEFA are under pressure to really host all 3 format finals in a efficient, professional, safe manner for the fans, really. So I think I've covered all the points that I thought of. Summarise again for you guys. If you want to play Danny Ings, play him up front with a striker, and you'll have no issues, right? And every game minimum, you play with a striker up front. And by that, I mean Antonio up front on his own, which he kind of alright with, or you play Ings and Antonio together. Those are the only two scenarios we need to think about. We do not want to play Bono Kudus up front, or no one up front, and then them three pissing about on the wings, no one getting into the box. There's still an issue where we're not getting enough numbers in the box, even though we scored 5. I know it's crazy. I see other teams, and I know they're big names, they got a bit more budget than us and things like that, but I want us to be a bit more quick and rotation in the play. I want it a bit faster, like, you know, the Tottenhams, the Brightons a little bit and things like that. I want us to move the ball around a bit quicker, quick on the break, and I want more people joining in the attack. I want more people getting into the box. I'm probably asking for a lot, probably be done in stages, but that's the kind of thing I'm thinking. Yeah, so put your comments in the box, share and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be back live, instant live show, chat reaction with you guys, interaction with you guys, and live reaction after the full-time whistle at 4 o'clock. So you guys have a good Sunday. Those of you going, enjoy yourselves. Hope you don't get too wet. So yeah, I'll be back straight after the full-time whistle. So take care.